Do you have any announcements?
Just waiting for that to go.
Door 22.
Hi, I'm John Larson. Welcome to the June OLUG meeting. It's 2015. I work for AIM. I'm an assistant engineer. Welcome. Let's see. Yes, Fedora 22 is out. That was the easiest upgrade I've probably done ever. Did you have the...
I haven't done it yet. Yay!
I did 2 laptops in one day. It surprised me how fast it was.
Oh, that's nice.
Now, I gotta say, what's that?
Should I try it from 20?
No.
No.
Okay.
So I tried from 9.
No, you can do 21 minutes. You should be able to go to 22. The thing is, they changed the, with 20, they split it out into server, workstation, and cloud.
Right.
So when you run fed up, you have to say product name equals and specify.
Okay, so I say works.
Or you can say no product. I didn't have to do that when I went from 21 to 22, it just remembered it. So it just downloaded the packages, rebooted, it did the install, and rebooted again, and it was so I started it from home. I logged in to my home machine, started it, got home, rebooted it, and it did the update. Not that bad. SSD seems to go very fast with them. I haven't noticed any real issues. There's an issue with Darktable, so if you're doing photography stuff, that's a problem. Apparently the version of Darktable, which is like Lightroom, is not compiled against GCC 5, so it doesn't work with the libraries that are compiled with GCC 5. So we're waiting for an update for that. And there was some weird NVIDIA stuff that apparently got resolved.
So you don't say the difference between DNF and YUM?
DNF is faster. Noticed.
Does one have a better dependencies on
Compared to the old Red Hat YUM one, yeah.
But you know, let's talk about name, shall we? Fed up. DNF. There's even what, DRM in the kernel. That's not digital rights management, it's direct rendering manager. I love them using names that sound odd.
Oh, there's going to be DRM in the kernels. So.
Yes. There's Fedi. If you've never heard of Fedi, it's a media codec helpful installer for Fedora. So like Flash, MP3, all that stuff. You install Fedi, then it has a menu. You just go through and you install stuff you want. It's pretty nice.
Or if you're in Mint, you just run Jot, it resolves everything for you.
Yep.
Magically. Including your hardware, which is very nice.
Are you still doing Ubuntu?
Nope. I am on the Fedora respin, ADE respin.
Oh, okay. So that means you're using Rex's stuff.
I actually have loaded on a VM on this laptop.
I believe Rex is still involved in that spin for Fedora. He's in UNL. Hello, Rex, if you're watching. He's a member of the list.
I have not done any. Speaking of Ubuntu,
I was going to ask about that. There's
Well,
been a little bit of a falling out. I don't quite understand all of it.
Jonathan Rudell, who's been the community leader for a long, long time.
unless you ask him, he says he's not.
Unless you ask him, he says, no, I'm just one of many. Anyway, they brought up some they brought up some more technical innovations, and he objected, and he said, you're objecting poorly and you're violating the code of conduct, which, back 10 years ago, that used to be a big thing in Ubuntu. The code of conduct was supposed to make them the nice version of Debian. They're supposed to be nice and not like those grumpy old Debian devs who yell at you.
Okay.
They do. Debian people do.
Well, they do yell at you. Yeah, I've seen them. The Debian mailing list
Is it all caps lock?
No, it's just one of the better sources of snark in the universe.
It is amazing how
The other thing worse is 4chan.
So, anyway, he was, Shuttleworth himself said, "You're gone."
Oh, okay.
And Shuttleworth's title is SAB-DFL, which is self-appointed benevolent dictator for life. That's his IRC handle. So, and the last I heard, Scott Kitterman, who's done some kernel stuff and done a lot of Kubuntu and server stuff for them, had strenuously objected to this and is calling out Shuttleworth and asking for a meeting.
He put a
And
bunch of stuff on the mail. He put a bunch of mail list stuff up, which was astonishingly different.
it was.
I mean, well thought out and.
No, I mean,
No,
it really made Ubuntu themselves look pretty bad.
Kitterman is not, he's one of those guys that this is the way it is, these are the facts, or these are the things that other people have said. He won't go pointing fingers and ranting and calling people names. He'll just say, this is what's happened so far, and that's pretty much what he did.
Well, it came down to a couple issues. One issue was the legality of the packages. Can you do an Ubuntu respin and take packages from Ubuntu without recompiling them? And
Is this the mint issue? Is that?
It's the mint issue, exactly. And Ubuntu is concerned out because, well, they're an alternate distribution. That was one thing. Other thing is when you go to Ubuntu and download their software, now they have a little slider thing to donate and stuff. And one of the options on there was to donate to other flavors. And there's like $143,000 they cannot account for that they raised through interesting bookkeeping. So there's a couple issues there. That also, keep in mind, Canonical's talking about doing an IPO now, and they have to start getting all their stuff in order.
Sure.
And they've
got a chunk of money missing.
well, the chunk of money missing is not that big a deal, but the whole having internal wars that you get resolved, and you get stuff resolved, and you get a whole bunch of stuff because they are trying to do an IPO. It's kind of like the funny thing is everybody was always when Ubuntu first came out, like, oh, they're not evil, they're really good.
So they're human Linux.
Yeah, they're supposed to be the giving Linux. They've done a great deal for me, the free CDs, all that stuff, a better version of Debian in some respects and that kind of stuff. They've forced Debian to do some stuff. But he always had a profit motive, I believe. And it's just come to the point now, it's like, it's been 10 years. And he's like, I'd like to make another $1 billion. So I think that's where we're kind of going to see it going. But the Kubuntu thing is, the funny thing is, the guy doesn't work for Canonical, he works for Blue Sky Software, I believe.
Yes.
And they also have also a very nice Debian distribution called Netrunner, which is another version. It's a Debian with the most recent KDE and stuff on it as well. So that may be one thing a lot of people go to, but it's going to be interesting how all that shakes out. And have you got your Windows 10 update notification yet?
I did.
No. I haven't turned on the one Windows laptop I have.
Okay, if you're running Windows 7 or 8, now you'll get a little notification in your bottom toolbar saying, hey, Windows 10 is coming out. You want to update as soon as possible, which will be July 29th.
Get your spot in line.
Yes, get your spot in line. And by the way, if your software doesn't work with Windows 10, well, that's going to be a whole thing. Well, they're saying also Windows 10, you may not be able to control what updates you receive. They may all be baked in if you have the home edition. And there's a whole deal with Windows 10. If you upgrade the first year, you get a free update. You got to pay the money for updates. There's a whole wonderful thing.
Yeah. Just outright, it's $119.
Have you tried Office for Android yet?
Yep.
Has anybody tried Office for Android yet? It's supposed to be pretty good. I actually tried out a little bit on the iPhone. It was actually what?
Get out.
Microsoft makes some fine software. And some very smart people working there. It's just,
These windows open.
they do if you push hard enough. But at least once. But no, I mean that's interesting to see how that's coming down. But then also LibreOffice is available now for Android. But they say it's a fewer, but you can turn on a setting that will make you able to edit the document. Because there's nothing I really wanted more than have LibreOffice on a screen this big. I think this is going to make my life a little better. Yeah, but it's going to be interesting. But to be able to view it on your phone is kind of nice. But it's just kind of interesting to see how it's going. But the thing about Microsoft Office is tying that to Skype or anything else is theoretically tying back to the whole how much money you have to pay. Microsoft has a patent holder because they hold those patents for Android stuff. Yeah. They're saying if you install their stuff now, supposedly you get a discount, so it's the new version of the whole classic bundling thing.
Uh-huh.
So it's always good.
It's a good thing I got a Nexus phone. So I don't have to send some.
Nexus 5 or 6? 5. Too bad you won't get them. Or you will someday. I might get it either.
And if you're really bored, Windows 10 is now available for your Raspberry Pi 2.
As long as you
doesn't
have
have
a
to be-
Windows Pro, you have to have the other machine to be able to run Raspberry.
Yeah.
I have no plans, so I haven't.
You can't have one without the other.
So if I plug in my XP box that's quarantined down with base,
You're not
put
going to
it
get
back
that.
on the network. Would it say, could I have a Windows up?
I think that's only going to be, that's only for 7 and 8.
That's 70 now.
You can't even go back as far as the state.
All right, I'll just leave it.
Yeah, that's the best thing to do.
You know, truth be told, I thought that they were going to turn a new leaf. They weren't going to have 10 SKUs. They were going to just say, here it is. And you get it for free, because Apple gives their stuff out.
Apple also runs on very expensive Apple.
I know they do, I know. But part of what they're losing is people going for that and upgrading. I put Yosemite on that older hardware, right? There's a remarkable difference between 10.8, or no. Yeah, 10.8 and 10.10. It slows the freaking machine down like crazy. There's no reason for that, other than they want you to have more.
What,
It's like four, it's got a 4 loop in it.
Apple would never do that.
It's like a checking to see if the next current.
You've heard the latest integration theory that the Apple iWatch has a chance to make everybody who has an iPhone 5 upgrade because it drains your battery so quickly.
Ah!
It drains the battery of your iPhone, so like you can go to bed, fully charging your iPhone, your watch, do nothing all night, and wake up with like a 60% charge on your iPhone the next morning after 7 hours.
You have this red spot on your hand from where the watch was.
Uh,
Supposedly they're selling 30,000 a week. But also,
Beth is popular,
supposedly,
too.
everybody who wanted one bought it and then it went.
Everybody can afford it.
I'm not buying a $17,000 watch.
Well, you'd have to buy a $70,000 watch and a $1,000 phone, which came for that.
Yes.
Well, I just know one
Covered in sports for Christmas.
one of our guys left Wordman's and took a position with Apple during Becca, and he said that even for people inside the big mothership out in California, it's difficult to get and not very cheap. So they weren't handing them out like candy.
No, because their yields are probably low. But Tag said that theirs will probably be about 1,400 for the Android server.
I guess I'd say we got to work as a Microsoft band. That actually not a bad little device for $200. Don't tell him. That's all right.
Yeah, except his arm is falling off.
He's
Yeah,
got
sorry
a
about that.
spot.
Is it cutting the
No,
circulation?
no,
He's got an
spots for
inspection
that.
from the bank.
I think they pay out here for
I knew somebody who had
Tight.
the Fitbit Force
Brian.
that said that was recalled because it was causing skin rashes and stuff like that. She has a metal allergy. It never did it to her. So, whatever. So it's June, right? Summer is almost here. And what better than to spend the hot summer months than playing with tiny Linux? So to speak about tiny Linux computers tonight, Aaron Grothe, ladies and gentlemen. You'll have to enunciate. I want to have an announcement after the presentation.
What? What?
Mr. Edwards. All right. So let's start with the basics. How big is the average Linux distribution you install now?
2 gig, 3 gig.
Big enough. Plenty of good size. There's still somewhat smaller once you get down to, but still you're talking in that time. That's some time size range. But that's because you get a whole lot of stuff you don't really need if you in certain situations. You get an office suite, you get multiple web browsers, you get another IRC client, you get all this stuff. But the question is, what do you really need? System D? You don't really need System D. No one needs System D. Thousands of utilities and programs? No. You need a Linux kernel? Yes, that really helps on this. Basic file system? Yep. And some support files. That's pretty much all you need. It's really pretty darn simple. Like I said, I hadn't built a Linux from scratch in quite a while, so it was kind of fun to play around with it again. There's some tools that can make it a lot easier. You get a lot more repeatable results. It's kind of nice. There's BuildRoot. There's OpenWRT BuildRoot. There's Linux from scratch. There's the Octa project. There's Geekbox. And I have a slide each one of these we'll talk about next. The tools have the benefit of providing an easily repeatable process. And that's one of the most important things you want to have when you're building software is repeatable process. Without that, you're pretty much screwed. The ability to do automated builds, updates. You're also getting a lot of stuff you may not need want, but it could be kind of cool. So let's talk about BuildRoot. BuildRoot is a very cool thing. It's based on like the make menu config. There's a couple different parts to it. You start it up, you tell it what to go out and grabs all the software, which is really nice because it knows all the locations to do it. It'll start building it all for you inside a cross-compile environment if you want to. Cross-compiling, let me define that real quick. Cross-compiling is when you're compiling for a different type of architecture than the one you're on. Like you're compiling for x86 and you're on an AMD 64 box. Or you're compiling for Spark CPU and you're on a Intel box or whatever like that. It just means that you're not running the same version. You have to set up a special version of the compiler and the assembler and stuff like that to build the utilities. Very cool little thing. So that takes care of the cross-compilation piece. The environment downloading source is really nicely done. It's updated every 3 months. It has preset templates for things like Raspberry Pi, BeagleBone, etc. So if you want to build up your own Raspberry Pi distro from scratch, that will do it for you. You can actually go through and select what you want. I want PGP, I want a desktop, I want this, I want that. It has a whole load of options on it. It's really a nice little environment. There's a couple friends that I know that actually a guy used to work at a company called Harney. He's working on a place out in Colorado now, who's actually using this for their environment. They're doing embedded systems. They're using BuildRoot to build their environment for them. They have their additional extensions. The one nice thing about BuildRoot is also like subdirectories where you can go like, I want to put my software here. So it all integrates into it very, very nicely. It's a very cool thing. If you want to take a shot at building something, you want one that's not just like floppy size or supposed to as possible, you get BuildRoot is one of the best ways to start.
Question.
Yes.
So is BuildRoot, it's like its own live CD that you use to do the building, or is it something you just install in your host Linux build?
You install in your host Linux system.
Okay.
But since it goes out and cross compiles to GCC and everything like that, you can actually build the same software pretty much on Debian as you do on Red Hat or any place like that.
How far does it go? Does it go all the way to the ISO?
It goes all the way to building you the images that you want to deploy to
okay.
the USB drive. It is really impressive the way they've got it laid out. They just know what they're doing with this one. It's supported by a bunch of commercial companies, which is why they're doing, and they're the ones who use the components for it. So it's really good. If you want to try and take a shot at building one, this is probably the one I would start with. OpenWRT BuildRoot. It's a heavily modified version of BuildRoot. How many people run OpenWRT, Tomato, or DDWRT on their systems, on their routers? How many of you guys running stock firmware on your routers? Stop that. No, unless you have a Buffalo and you get DDWRT, one of the things that there's been recently some really malicious stuff going out worm-wise attacking people's home routers. You can actually get, there's what is called Moose. There's actually,
that sounds right.
You can actually go out right now and actually license botnets built from people's home routers now. If you spend the right ports in the darknet. Like, I want to take down this company, but I don't really want to do it for my personal machine, so I'll just use this. And it works really well. So if you do have the stock firmware, take a look at ddwrt.com or OpenWRT or Tomato and see if there's an alternative firmware. It's really nice to have on. You get a lot of additional functionality, and you can add quite a bit of capability to your router.
I want to make a comment about the DD word portion.
Yeah.
You can search for a router in a database, and it'll give you the builds. But that search function in the build they list, some of that stuff's 5 years old.
Yeah.
So you gotta go to the actual FTP site and pull the stuff down. That's where you want to find it.
Yeah. It works good for the initial flash. They always have the from factory to the other one. But I feel kind of bad for people nowadays because they don't realize how painful it used to be to flash a router. Because I had to hook up a serial cable to mine, do all this wonderful stuff. Yes. And now it's like, click here, nope.
Good done.
Yeah, it's kind of pissing me off. But the pain shouldn't drop all the way to 0. It should be a little bit towards. But the OpenWRT guys, they use it to build all the software for all the chips, all the routers they support. And it's a tremendous piece of software, and they just have an older version of it. It's like I said, it's impressive scale how many different environments they support. They support a crap load of routers. Not as many as DWRT, but a lot, and it all tends to be automated. So very cool way to play it out. But this one I would use more if you're looking to build actually if you want to build for a router, they have very nice templates for that. You want to actually go out and grab your source code and build a custom version for yours. That's not bad.
I used it in a radio build. Converted the router to a radio with a USB.
Awesome. Well, actually, the OpenWRT is also used by a couple projects like Ben's NanoNode and a couple other ones like that use it as well. So because it's very small, another very small distro. Linux from scratch. If you haven't tried Linux from scratch, it's a very cool thing. It's a book that tells you how to build your own Linux distribution, and they give you a live CD now, which is you can just actually use that to base your stuff on. But you go through the whole process. You build your compiler, you build your assembler, you build your bin utilities. You go crazy little by little. You just keep doing it. But by the end of it, you have a working console type Linux distribution that is compiled from the sources you pull down. It's a very cool way it is going. It gives you the basic stuff you need. If you want to get things like X11 or web browser, that stuff on there, you have to go to the next book, which is Beyond Linux from Scratch, which is a very cool one as well. But this provided a lot of information to a lot of people. For a while there, you were seeing a lot of distributions coming directly from this book. There still are a lot. It's really just a good guide and stuff. But the process going through, even just reading it through, you can learn a lot on it. There's a couple other systems on there as well. They have other books for OneFS, which is Automated Linux from Scratch, which tries to automate the whole build process. So you're getting closer to a repeatable process and stuff like that, which is really nice. VLFS, which we talked about a little bit, Beyond Linux from Scratch. There's Hardened, which is actually has some very nice security features in it. You can recompile your kernel with PAX, GR security, all that kind of stuff. They have the guidelines. And you can also try and build your kernel with multiple things in it as well. You can try and turn on AppArmor and here. I'm building mine for x86, i386, i46, i586, the old style Pentium machines. So instead of actually going cross compiling, I just did a KVM and created that. You could theoretically also create a KVM with Raspberry and recompile your own distro from scratch there too, but that's speeding would be a little bit of a problem there. Yocto. Linux Foundation project. Linux Foundation is a very good group. They pay a lot of people who do a lot of great stuff. This is designed to help create custom Linux images for embedded systems. It's been around for a few years now as the Linux Foundation project. It's been pretty popular, stuff like that. People have flame wars between that and Buildroot, which one's better. A lot of people tend to like Buildroot more, but Buildroot tends to be more tied to certain manufacturers. Yocto tends to be more independent because it's from Linux Foundation. So it's the kind of question: what's the best Linux distribution? Is it Debian? Yes. But you're one of those people who thinks Fedora is the best distribution. You may be wrong, which you are, but that's just.
I would say there's a varying level of curation with distros. I don't really want to say which one's best or better. It's just the levels of curation that goes into a product.
Or artisanal Linux, maybe.
I was thinking, that was perhaps the greatest non-answer we've ever had.
I have to be open for everything.
Wow. Change, Sam.
Want some Windows 10? No.
Well, Yahoo is a really cool one too. There's also some Geekbox. Geekbox has been around for at least 15 years. It originally started as this amazingly cool idea. I have a movie file. I have an MP. This is probably MP2.
Ooh.
This is old stuff, and I want to create a live CD that has just enough at the edge of the OS that'll bring up the player, and it can just play the command, the Windows, the regular non-console version of the VLC type stuff, of M-Player and stuff like that. And that's what really made it kind of cool. So they had a build system that built everything from scratch, which was very nice because at the time that was really a secret recipe. Very few people had anything about it. And these guys are still around, keep doing it. They've got a little bit bigger version now because those live CDs, movies aren't near as popular anymore. But they still have their stuff. They do a version of stuff for XP and C, all that kind of stuff. But their software still out there. With the old version of Geekbox, it has these scripts and stuff to build it, which nobody else had at the time. So I just like them because they give me a little piece of ideas here and there. So how to build a minimum system. What you're going to want to do is this great thing called DuckDuckGo, or Google, if you haven't tried to use DuckDuckGo yet. How many people use DuckDuckGo? All right.
Well, I usually end up going to Google anyway because the results from DuckDuckGo at DuckDuckGo aren't always.
I've been there as well. But DuckDuckGo is another search engine that tends to be more privacy oriented. So it's probably the correct way to say it. Because Google started to know a lot of things about me that I really wish they didn't know.
Yes.
Some more arcane stuff.
You know, you think of some of the stuff. If Google called me with a bomb, like I say, I was going to blow something up. They can show some of the other stuff I've got. I can't. So, but years ago, for Linux Journal, Bruce Perens was the original Debian maintainer after Ian Murdoch. He led it to the initial version. If you ever wonder why the names of the releases of Debian are like Jessie, and Straw Dog, and Squeeze, and Sleep, and all that kind of stuff, they're all characters from Toy Story. They come from Toy Story because of Bruce Perens. And they just continued that in kind of his tribute kind of thing. But he wrote this article many, many years ago. And it had 3 parts to it. You can see it's on Linux Journal. Those are the links to it. I'll throw you the slides or whatever you want to. You can post whatever. But you can just do a search for Bruce Perens, Linux Journal system. He had like 6 articles on there. And it goes through the basics. It's very nice. It's like 28 pages. And it will get you to a bootable floppy.
I take it those are over 3 separate issues.
Yeah. Well, the first part is just explaining BusyBox. The second one is actually getting a base Linux kernel up and running and getting to a live CD. The third one is making a writable file system on it and also doing setting up the things you can do multiple user logins. Because with the way mine's currently set up, you are root or all powerful. There's no multiple levels.
All root all the time.
For the project I'm doing, it actually makes a lot of sense. So, the original Windows system was designed to create a bootable floppy and talks a bit about how some of the initial Debian boot floppies work. Debian spent a lot of time getting their boot floppies work, because this was, once again, 15 years ago, when boot floppies ruled the land and you didn't have USB drives and stuff like that. But you basically come down to needing 4 pieces to get a Linux distro up and running on a USB flash drive or whatever. You need a kernel. You need BusyBox. You don't need BusyBox, but you're going to use BusyBox. BusyBox is this amazing concept that Bruce Perens actually came up with. And what he did was he created a program that has like everything in it. LS, who am I? PI, which, all these different things in there. CD, all of that. They're all inside one executable.
Wasn't there another?
If you see,
I'm trying to remember what the other ones besides BusyBox was.
been a
There's
bunch.
like 2 or 3.
There's been some other utilities like this, some of that. But if you see, all these executables on here, all the ones that are white are actually pointers to BusyBox. Actually, everything that's on the system right now is BusyBox in terms of executables. CPIO, CP, LZOP, all this kind of stuff.
Whatever being passed to it, it executes that.
Yeah. The way it knows it is all are just symbolic links. So if you call the touch executable, it knows, hey, this is actually BusyBox. So it's actually smart enough to figure all that out. And BusyBox has a really great interface where you can compile it up with the make menu config again, and you can figure out which components you need. Like for mine, I don't have any network on because this program, my distribution is not going to support any network for the way it's designed. That's a conscious decision choice on it because it's a more paranoid distribution. So it's amazing how much stuff you can get in there, and the size of BusyBox is zero.
Yeah.
1.6 meg.
Move it up a little bit for
Yeah.
people in the back.
They're not going to see anyway. So for 1.6 megabytes, we have about 100 utilities. And that's also compiled with the glibc library. There's a couple different ones you can use. Some people use the glibc5, some people use ulibc, all that. So I just use glibc because it makes it a lot simpler. That's what I'm going for this one. But it is an amazing tool. BusyBox, it's just worth it to actually play around with it, compile and just run it and see what it does. It just is freakish how much they can do with it. And
Control.
Yeah. An initial RAM disk is just a compressed file system. Linux kernel, how small can you get a 4.0 kernel nowadays? Not small to put on a floppy anymore. I can pretty much guarantee you that. I went through, when you do a make there's a whole bunch of different ways you can create a configuration. There's like make def config, which makes the default configuration. There's make yes config, which turns every option on. There's make ran config, which is actually kind of cool because I just go through and randomly selects yes and no flags. It's very useful for building the system because that way they can actually validate.
And you're making a monolithic kernel, no modules?
Yes.
Okay.
All static, all the time. It's designed to be as simple as you can get it. Which is the way it should be.
So if
yeah.
you don't turn on SCSI, you're not getting SCSI. But you don't necessarily need it on
No.
Raspberry Pis. or-
SCSI anymore.
It's still the root of many controllers, whether it's SCSI or SATA. The libraries can use some of the same functions.
Okay.
Am I correct?
Yeah. They use a lot of they were trying to move some of the code over to some of that E code over to
libAPA.
Yeah.
I was thinking of the physical
Yeah, the actual devices.
Yeah,
thing.
but the technology behind SCSI is like never anymore.
But the thing is, trying to get a kernel down to the size that you get back on floppy is not possible. Because I came across a gentleman that I was doing some research on that yesterday, actually, last night. And it's like, he goes like, I have a Google floppy, I built this in 2015, and I'm like, how the heck did you do that? So I go out and take a look at it. What he did was he used FreeDOS instead of using Linux kernel. Yeah. So it's like, well, that works. FreeDOS it was clever. I'm giving that. It totally stumped me on how he did it. But FreeDOS, if you guys have ever taken a look at it, is a free and open source version of MS-DOS. Yeah, MS-DOS equivalent. It is actually really cool. It's being used for some of the small embedded stuff.
Dell was shipping it for a while on servers.
Yep. And you can actually, there's actually GUI desktops for it. One called
Gem,
yes.
Hey!
It's an old Atari ST guy. I love the Gem OS. Gem desktop is amazing. But using make def config, says do everything static. I ended up like a 5 megabytes BC image kernel, which is easy to compress. There's also support supposed to be coming out the XY stuff out of the new XZ compression algorithm. XZ actually. compression algorithm, but it's not in the version I was playing with and stuff. So, but I mean, you do depth config, you're getting a lot of drivers that you don't need one. It's still hard to get those up, floppy nowadays with a minimal file system. It's impossible. There's no way you can do it. There used to be a project called Tiny Linux, which was just a whole set of kernel patches, which the guy just cut all sorts of stuff out. I've actually, one of the things I'll look at, there's a Tiny Core Linux system, which boots off a 10 megabyte USB file system with a GUI, and I want to see how well they got their system cut down. I pulled up their default config, I'm going to compare theirs to mine. BusyBox, we already talked about that a little bit. Let's see that there. Many routers, embedded systems use BusyBox for the majority of the functionality. BusyBox is one of the primary GPL vendors.
Yes.
Because a lot of places who ship routers, stuff like that, do not ship their version of BusyBox, their software. And they've been sued, and there's been lawsuits threatened, and it's early steps on it. Usually almost all the router manufacturers come to compliance. It's not really that hard to do. So eventually, when the GPL actually ever does finally get tested in court, it will probably be thanks to BusyBox and some embedded guy who's just really decided to be kind of a dick about it. SysLinux. If you're looking for like the simplest bootloader you can load Linux from, it is it. It is really an old style one. It loads from a FAT32 file system, which is like a FAT16 mode, which is like
That would be FAT12, I believe.
I don't think that's that bad.
Wasn't that FAT? Well, FAT and FAT12
Yeah.
are the same thing.
I thought there was a FAT16 as well.
There is a 16.
There is
yeah.
a-
But it will load from almost anything. It's used for a lot of mini distributions still. It's really nice because it is actually just an MS-DOS partition. You just have to put a couple files on there, and you don't have to do a whole lot of else with it stuff. And it boots on a lot of the convention hardware very well. It's almost everything will understand just enough to get that loaded. An NRD stands for initial RAM disk. It's a compressed file system that's presented to the bootloader along with the Linux kernel. It's generated by the genrom fs command. It can also be built by hand. All you're really doing is taking your entire file system, your dev, your sc, your spin, your bin, your var, your temp, your mount, all that stuff. You're just tarring it all and just compressing it all to one file system and then gzipping it. And then you've got it all ready to go. Yeah, and home up there.
Well, if you're putting home in there, though, it's not changeable because it's compressed.
What you have to do is you actually you put some logic in the boot
So it
system.
swaps the.
And then you actually mount the loopback file system, and then you can actually modify stuff. That's it. Part 3. Always plugging. So, what's my build system for this? I created a basic Debian 8.0 Jesse i386 system via KVM. I didn't want to deal with cross-compiling. It was more pain in the butt than I want to go down that road. I wanted to be able to drop the whole system onto a big USB drive, take it with me. Turns out, made a mistake on that. I made it too big, and I was trying to put it on a FAT32 file system USB drive, and it didn't go. So I haven't been repartitioned that. But I'm getting there. I've learned much in this process.
So, FAT32 can do 32 gig file system.
They can do up to 1 4-gig file. And if you're doing KVM, you have an image file, which is the full size of your system, which is, if you're stupid enough when you create it to make it, let's say, 10 gigabytes, you're screwed. You can compile it, you can compress it, but that will take forever. Even if it's empty, it still takes forever. So, one of the reasons why I did this, I wanted to be able to pull utilities from Debian during testing, just want to make it as simple as possible, just looking to make my life a little easier. So that's kind of my build mark. What am I building? Years ago, about 15 plus, it seems like everything in my talk is 15 years old. It's not, I gotta get up to date, get with the kids, and start talking about System D.
No, please don't.
That's where all the cool kids are at nowadays. Okay, so many years ago, there's a project called Tinfoil Hat Linux. Tinfoil Hat Linux was a bootable floppy. It was designed to only for one thing. Designed you boot it, you fire up GPG, you encrypt the file, you decrypt the file, depending on what you want to do, and then you reboot into your regular file.
Sounds like something Alex Jones would use.
It's probably would be probably the only guys. The Shmoo guys actually did this for several years. They did 2 versions of it, 1.0 version, which they talked about at CodeCon 2002, and they did a 2.0, which they never actually released. But this is on disencrypted, decrypted data. Yeah, the Shmoo.org site has been down for some time. It's kind of annoying. TFL has a bunch of security features, which I'm in the process of trying to recreate. Some of them are not going as well as others. Let's just leave it at that. One of the things that we'll do is we'll do background encryption, decryption from GPG to throw things off. So you can't go by disk activity. You can't go by what's going on in the memory.
The traditional entropy method.
Yes, all that stuff it tends to push against them really well. It has this option called the paranoid mode, which I'll show you guys, which is just god awful. It goes to this gray on gray screen, making it harder for tempest conditions to work, for that to make it forward. And it is just almost impossible to use. It uses its own software called GPG Grid Matrix, which do the password. What you do is it puts up a little thing, and you go like, it's kind of like the old video game style where like, I'll take this square here and just puts that over into the buffer. So if somebody's actually got a keylogger, they can't figure out exactly what you're doing because it's random every time. So it's actually a really nice little piece. Put LEDs on and off keyboard doors to make the electronic listening more interesting. Well, think about it. USB activity. Well, actually, mostly this one is PS2 style. But that kind of, once you're going back to the screen, going back to listening to the system, you're going to keylog, you're going to all that kind of information. It's all designed around those core concepts. One thing it does that's very nice has not been, the flipping the LEDs, that is a pain in the ass. Recreating that is turning out to be, they're set LEDs on and off, which you do, but it's not really working well with the Morse.
Well, the kernel has its own portion where to flip those too.
Yeah.
If you panic.
Yeah, the console tools could give you this call into the system on that. But the problem is the version that they built this with was so old of 2.2, they're using a different program that doesn't exist anymore. Which one of the things you're going to learn if you're trying to resurrect a program like this, you'll be spending a lot of time at archive.org. Archive.org backs a tremendous amount of information on the web. If you think somebody put something embarrassing up at some time, go take a look at archive.org and go find it. It can be hilariously fun. Actually, I think I have to go OLUG website sometimes.
Oh, the Wayback Machine?
Yeah, the Wayback Machine. Another thing it does is it checks the BIOS signature of the machine to make sure it hasn't been altered. So it just has that, boom. Very nice little feature. It can tell you that. You can also update the component afterwards. No network support compiled in the Linux kernel. Therefore, no problem with networking. There's
Exactly what Alex Jones needs to keep those reptilians from spying on him.
Well, you're just doing the encryption stuff. You're working with a local file.
The idea is you'll boot into it, you'll do encryption or decryption of what you need to do, and then you'll reboot back to the regular system to do it, like sending out mail, all that kind of stuff. So, does this really have a still purpose? The problem with this one is really is like a pyramid. I like the quote, but when you start talking about the situation where people are in places where having this kind of stuff on you can be bad. The nice thing about having it is you got a PGP on it, so if you start going and looking at things you can do off the PGP, like have a second file and there with different passwords, that kind of stuff. So you can start dealing with the broker host file system type situations. So, the name of it is going to be TimFez. It's a spiritual successor to TimFez at Linux. Why Fez? Because Fezes are cool. I do have timfez.org and .net. Somebody's sitting on timfez.com, and I'm not going to pay them money for it. But we're using the updated Linux kernel, so we get things like ext3 and ext4. That's always nice to have. A modern version of BusyBox, a version of GPG that doesn't have no security holes. It's kind of nice. You're going to use MDEV from BusyBox for ability to automatically detect hardware. That blew me away that it can do that. So when you plug stuff in, it automatically can alter that through the sysfs stuff. All built into BusyBox. All part of that 1.6 mega executable. Unbelievable.
You don't have to mess with the frame buffer and all that kind of stuff.
No. The only thing it's going to have is just the Linux console. I'm not going to put multiple TTYs on it. Some of the components I'm still researching, and the Morse LED thing doesn't work on newer kernels. So looking at using set LEDs, etc. I'm looking to get the size of about 10 megabytes, which should be plenty actually, because we're talking 3 meg kernel and a couple meg for BusyBox, and all of the other support stuff should be a couple hundred K. So I could possibly get it to 5, but the smaller it is, the better off we're going to be. Designing to put on a write protectable USB drive. That way you can control the stuff's being able to be written to the image. Always
Not
nice.
that many of them. It's kind of rare, aren't they?
There's a list on Reddit that has them on it.
I have like the first one I bought had a write protect.
Yes, a lot of the old 1632 meg ones did it, the old really small ones. There's still companies that do it. I'm trying to think, I've got one in my bag.
Mine was a Transcend, so I don't know if they still do it.
But they're still, Imation does them actually. They have a 4 gig that comes with a little carbon on it thing.
Yeah, okay.
It comes with a little clip thing on it, and that actually has it in there. And there's Tanjagugu, which actually has USB 3.0 that actually have that, which, given the fact you're loading 5 meg data, you probably don't need USB 3.0 as much. But
Curiosity, are you using RPG card?
what?
Open PGP cards?
I've not thought about it yet. Be a fine thing to consider. But, so yeah, what it's really going to be is going to be 2 things. It's going to be, first off, it's going to be the guide to be able to build your own version. You should be able to take it's going to come down to the core parts. Grabbing the software, building the software, and doing the whole, put the whole thing together into a USB image. And I want that to be available to a couple different ways. First is as the scripts, so you can run your own version on your own thing you want to. The images will be available, and also to be able to have it where there'll be, the VM I'm building is going to be probably 5 gigs or so, just compile it, 5 to 6 gigs in size. Just put that out, actually less because I'm going to build it without the GUI again when I do my VM the next time. So you'll be able to build the whole environment here, comes down to how it works. How many of you guys have heard of reproducible builds yet in Debian? Yeah, the idea of reproducible build is you take a snapshot of your system. So I can say I built this software on this date with this version of the software, and anybody else who builds it will get the same version of the software. So it's actually reproducible build. So if you build it, I build it, and Dave builds it, and Dave comes back differently, that means something's wrong with Dave's machine. Either it's been compromised or something's happening. So you start having multiple people building the same stuff, but building the same build environment. If you start getting
It's
different
like a big
results,
CRC.
yeah, it's a tremendous concept. But the reproducible builds are in Debian, and currently they're still moving forward with it. I don't know when they're going to be. They were talking. There's you can just look for reproducible build Debian. There's also versions of it they're working on it for Fedora and stuff like that as well. That's going to be very cool because then you can start building multiple times, and start getting the same results. Which people, I'm looking at doing that as well. So that's the reason why I also use Debian, because I'd like it to go be the form where you can validate my versions with these version, or else you can build your own version.
So, as part of your build process, you're sticking in your GPG stuff so that when it's compressed, it's within that container.
Yeah.
Okay.
You'll actually want to put your own GPG card, certificate on the box.
Yes.
You'll have to actually, that'll be part of the, yes. It does with, you'll be building the same optimization every time. But it,
Do like an 03, just about more.
yeah,
You can do that.
the reproducible build locks that. So you're building the same environment. So, but if you do, there won't be a reproducible arch. I don't think people love playing with flags and that. But for the core of GCC, and the core of Debian and stuff like that, they build pretty much the same types of environments. But it's a very cool thing, its own thing. I'd love to see where that's coming along. So I've been looking into a little bit, but that's just one of the things I think that would be kind of cool if you start talking about people in places like theoretically North Korea, that kind of stuff, trying to use something like this. We'll see how it goes. But I had this huge bit of productivity there a while ago, and I was making tremendous progress with it. And then I ran into Morse to lead, and I just hit a huge wall trying to get like 4 or 5 different utilities into it. So I'm getting back to point out I'm working around that components. So I'm thinking version 0.1 or whatever I'm going to call it is going to probably just be what I can get easily working on the system. And then we'll add a couple other additional components back there. Because they're getting about being paranoid is you don't have to stop anywhere because it doesn't make sense. You can just keep adding one more thing onto it. One thing they have on there is they're talking about putting the capability of something like going and snapshotting all your USB devices, and then be able to actually do something. You can plug in a new USB device and they're like panic. Because if you ever deal with the FBI at all or anybody like that, law enforcement in general, the first thing they do after they raid your house, I've heard or only heard, is they have this thing called a mouse jiggler, which they stick inside a USB port in your system, and it just does that. So your screen doesn't lock, all your passwords don't disable, all that kind of stuff. So if you actually are smart to update this so it has like, these are the USB devices I see when it comes up. You want to run in super extra paranoid mode, so when anything shows up that's new USB, you just shut down and just...
Could it be new or missing?
Yeah. You could do that as well. I mean, that's the great thing about it. It's going to be just something to play with in that component. So
And that's going off like the serial number of the drive.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is all that stuff is available. And you can also, you'll have to talk a little bit to the SysFS and just get all the information from the product. But there's no limit to how crazy you can get. Just keep going.
I mean, it wouldn't necessarily have to mount the drive. It just says, what am I seeing?
Yes. So,
it's like very similar to in war games when you have to turn the keys for the missiles.
Yeah.
So you have to have both keys in before you can have an actual running system.
Which is actually kind of cool, because if you have a USB drive that you personally always use, and you just pull that out, you're back and safe again. Because there's all sorts of things you can do about that. One of the things that's really kind of cool, there's something called Blue Proximity. I don't know if you guys have seen that.
Bluetooth.
Yeah. Just told us on the side. What it does is you register your phone, you pair it with your computer, and then when your phone goes away, like you walk away or something happens, like you shut your phone off before the door comes down, the computer's smart enough to be able to do an action, such as lock the system, unmount drives, so on and so forth. But the goal here is, there's two goals actually. One goal is to actually put together some information on how to build a modern, basic, tiny Linux distribution. The other one is to build something really paranoid. And I'm working on both those in parallel. So it's good. When is it going to be done? When is it done? I had this huge.
It'll be done the same day Fallout 3 comes out, or no, not Fallout, Half-Life 3
Duke
comes
Nukem
out.
Forever 2 comes out. Yes, I'll.
It'll be whatever Steve can finally cover 3.
That's no possibility. We'll see how it goes. The base system's still going. The original system, parts don't even work. Didn't ever actually work on the Tinkwell 2.0 version. I'll probably put up a SourceForge as a couple sub projects. I put that up there before SourceForge started talking about all their GIMP stuff. SourceForge.
You're going to put it on
I put that up before the GIMP issue came up. I know that has some issues with that. How many people have used GIMP for Windows?
Back when I used to use Windows, maybe.
All right, GIMP for Windows. If you download, SourceForge started doing this for various components now. They've actually started putting a different installer on there that actually has adware inside as well, and they're replacing the built-in one. And some people, like the GIMP people, have been very, very pissed off about it. And there's a whole...
Only get it from the GIMP site.
Yes.
Don't get it from anywhere else.
Yes.
Or get it from Nine.
It's kind of like saying, if you look for Videoland, don't take the first link you're going to get on Google. So, learned a lot through this whole process. Here's some tips you try and do your own. Get your kernel rights. I know it seems remarkably simple, but I did not have the RAMFS, the RAM drives configured correctly, and it just would be so promising and start booting, and then it died. It'd show you like most of the diagnostic stuff, then just boom. And of course, you don't get any feedback at all on it. I could have fired up in Box to get more additional information on it, but I just didn't care enough. I just kept going over the guides and stuff like that until I figured it out. So it's really in a sadistic mode that time.
Partition.
Yeah. That one, to make sure your partition is set to bootable, I spent several hours before I figured it out. I just did not know why it wasn't going. Because one of the things when you create QEMU, an image, is it doesn't set it to bootable by default. So it just boom, boom, boom. Angrier and angrier and angrier. Start with the defaults for most things, start customizing after that. The most important thing is build your system as simple as possible. Grab BusyBox, grab the kernel, just give it a shot and get that up and running. If you read through this guide and you can take into account a couple changes from the old kernel to the new kernel, there's really nothing to stop you from grabbing the old kernel and actually having it working actively. Except for the fact that I wanted things like the ext3 and the ext4 and the possibility of ButterFS and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, defaults are very important. Some more tips. If you do a KVM setup like mine, you can mount the target image in the build image, update and boot it without making changes, without having to change anything hardware-wise. An example of that is KVM-HDA is the TFL build image, the first drive. The boot image, which is actually the TimFez Linux image, is just called boot image. So it mounts both those. So now I can mount. So I boot off the build environment, and I have the other one available so I can mount that and unmount that without having to do anything else. So I can just mount that, do a sync, and start the KVM with the boot image while the original is still running. So KVM-HDA boot IMG saves you a lot of time. Because the old days, when I did this many, many years ago, about 15 years ago now,
Very hard.
It was actually that situation. You would cut your stuff, you boot up in the Linux, you cut the floppy, you turn the machine off, you turn it back on, you wait about a minute to go, fuck. And
you cry.
and you get angry, and then you reboot it, take the floppy out, boot it, and do the whole routine. KVM has just made that amazingly easy. You can also do this with VirtualBox and stuff like that. It's just KVM is nice because it has a very nice family stuff. One of the ones to really consider looking at is Box, BOCHS, because that is so slow you can watch the instructions run one by one almost. So it is tremendously nice, but it's really easy to do. It's not too bad. Let me show you what the tinfoil hat looks like. This is
Tinfoilfez.com.
tinfoilfez.com.
Tinfoilfez.
All right, here's the question. I'm calling it Tin Fez because I like the fact it's 6 characters long. Some people think it should be Tinfoil Fez. What do people think?
What's wrong with Tin
I like
Fez?
Tin Fez.
I think Tin Fez works better because it's more, at least Red Hat know they've got competition.
So I don't think they have to worry about Tin Fez.
No, it's the question now where it's at right now. Someday, though.
So if I get Tinfoil Fez, you're all right.
Just redirect.
Well, what are you going to do with it?
He's going to put adware in there.
Text AdWords.
It's just an ad for Tin Fez. It's very, very cyclic.
So I've got the old Tinfoil Fez Dave. So the old tinfoil hat Linux, there's two versions of it. There's a 1 and 2 image. Well, let me just fire this one up. This is the second one. Boot fail, please change disk and press to keep continuing. That's always nice. Don't be this.
Now we can see why.
Everything like that was right.
You got the first one?
They're everywhere.
Must be the QEMU kernel, or the architecture.
Yeah, yes. System i386 HDA. This won't be using hardware acceleration option because this wonderful machine doesn't really work the way it's supposed to. Why are you being this? Why are you being so mean? Really? There's something. Oh, I know why it's not working. Why is that not working? Because it's...
There is no floppy.
Yes, I put HDA, which is a hard drive, not a floppy drive.
That's the fastest floppy ever.
It's so quiet.
It's amazing, this floppy disk emulation.
What is this witchcraft?
Oh, wait a minute. There was a bug in that.
Oh, there's plenty. So here's the thing it does. It looks at the old ROM hash and the current ROM hash, and since I'm running a different hardware, it knows it's different. So menu. You've got the turn on the paranoid settings. Let's try that. Do I want to start background processes? Sure. A lot of reading with this. And here you go. That is gray on gray, but it's not going to work because this is tinfoil 2, which never actually worked right.
You can just barely tell that
Sound
there is
good.
text there, but
Yeah,
it's not found.
Yeah, something about that. Yeah.
So the good thing is, so we'll go back to tinfoil 1, which does work. But if you're looking at the situation where someone does have a Tempest trying to listen to your screen, the activity on it, you are going to have a much tougher time picking up gray on gray than you are anything else, because the edge detection is where it all comes down to. Is being able to actually figure that component out. So it's a very cool little system that works.
I have a question on that.
Yes, well, it's
Tempest originally worked with CRTs.
Tempest works just fine with LCDs.
Yeah.
Really?
Not near as well, but it does. Because the most part is
It's still signaling.
it's not even coming as much from the actual LCD screen now as it actually comes from inside the memory of the system where it's putting together the video card. It's getting
Oh,
Tempest
wow.
out
Okay,
there.
okay.
Because years ago when I did that, years ago on the International Obfuscation Code Contest, I did an entry for it and lucked out. And what it did was it actually drew the patterns on the screen and it turned it into music for you. You had a shortwave radio close enough to and stuff like that. And I was wondering that exact thing. It's like I'm trying this on CRT, it's working just fine. Will it work with LCD? And it does, just not as well. I'm trying to figure out how is this happening? Because it's not just coming from the screen, it's coming from actually inside the memory of the system. But it just puts out just enough order to it that you can just start. There's a program called Tempest for Eliza which does that. That was much better than mine.
Now,
Yes.
related to that,
Yes.
I wonder if you've got HDMI, HDCP interferes with that. Because that's supposed to be copy protection.
If you're doing 4K, I mean higher end stuff, I would imagine that would give you some version. But who knows?
It just makes me think, you know.
I think what it does more along the lines there is actually a check. I don't know if that's all everything through encrypted the whole way through.
Okay.
Because if you start playing on the Blu-rays and stuff like that, it'll start checking for all the encryption and stuff like that on it. So I haven't dug that deep into that component. But I can't imagine they'd be putting it through all the way encrypted all the way because that would I think it just unlocks the case.
It's supposed to be as it leaves the port and enters the port.
Yeah. I just wondered about the overhead on that, but then again, we're talking just pretty high stuff. So,
Yeah.
but you can go nuts if you spend enough time on. The thing, I feel more paranoid having started this section. This whole project. So turn on the paranoid settings. Here's a quick rundown of the options. Turn on the paranoid settings, read the manual for GPG, wipe and DHL, switch to a new floppy disk, always valuable.
Oh, the B floppy.
Switch to start detection editor. This one actually uses a detection editor called E3. I'm probably just going to drop that and just use the VI built from BusyBox. And if you don't like it too bad, that moves on. Start using the new privacy guard. Wipe, erase floppy, hard disk or file, which is just the wipe utility. Shift on the computer, first back the keys and entropy to floppy, or erase the shell. What else was I saying there? I'll show the GPG grid in a minute here. We're going to kill this after we run this. So, start background processes, very nice. And we have gray on gray. I know you're thinking, well, that's just tremendous. But let me go back into it again here. So I want to be able to show you this. Because initially my goal was to actually move this, mount a Debian file system onto it to copy all the information over to it, so I'd be able to get all this stuff on the NetRD and stuff like that. So I created a system so I KVM to do all this wonderful work, and it's all set up, all figured, everything's great. And then I realized I have it set to an ext3 file system, so you can't see this. So I ended up going back and doing this over and over again. Everything goes the right way. But if you just want to see what GPG grid looks like, GPG grid. They ask you a question when I see the last letter you entered. So what it does is this wonderful little thing. So if you have like a 20, 30 character long passphrase, it's going to take you a while to do it. So it's like T and J. Then, sorry, the wrong way. J, then let's do J and T, so we'll do right. And we got one character so far not finished. You're getting correct.
Jeez.
But that gives you an idea of the level of stuff you can do on it. But you don't have to be this crazy about it. Once you do this, however, you've entered it, you've say stop entering characters. The last question you want to actually save. Is that how we do it? Oh. H and enter. Yes. This has got a great interface to it. It's really hating me right now. These under caps gridlet, there's no B. Yes. What are you wanting? So, but the point is, when you finally make GPG grid happy, it will ask you if you want to actually say this the key to the random disk for that, which is just a random disk, you're fine with it. But if you are feeling tremendously paranoid, you can do this every time. So, think of how simple your life is going to be. You'll boot up with this.
I'll be in the door before you.
Well, you're not going to be doing this in that situation. I hope you have some fun. By that time, the regime will fall. But you can fire this up, you can have this gray on gray screen, which you can barely see, and then you'll have this to enter your 20, 30 character long GPG password, and then you will then be able to enter commands on it based on this to be able to encrypt and decrypt files, which you will then be able to boot into the regular OS and continue to do your work. It couldn't be simpler. And I got some idea for enhancements on this, which will be tremendous, and we'll get to it. But the way it works in terms of the core idea of it is, the guy had this really cool idea. He presented at CodeCon 2002, and it's just as. But the problem with it is, it does not. I think I have network right.
Yes.
So if you look for tinfoil hat. Tinfoil hat schmoops, the schmoo people.
We're working on it.
And that's what you get.
2015.
Yeah, they've only been working on it for about 3 months now, so that's a pretty good time for them. But it has been around in quite some time. But the schmoo guys, they weren't hacked, at least they said they weren't. So if I had to go to archive.org, they pull pieces on it. But if you look at the old stuff, if you look at the way their stuff's laid out, almost everything here is also, once again, BusyBox. Except for these couple things like the blinker, which does the LEDs, contrast, which is when it screws up your contrast, C-theme, which does that does part of that, GPG grid, GPG, all those components to help. So all I really need to do is get a couple of these components finished up and get wipe recompiled. I'm building everything statically because I don't have a library on this system. That's not my goal. My goal is to have everything be static, reproducible, back to being as simple as possible. So what we do is you just tend to just GCC compile it up on your system with -o static, and it pulls just enough of stuff in there to do that. When's it going to be done? Of course, the question. If I can just get some free time, I think it'll be making progress. But in terms of things like mouse jiggler, all that kind of funkiness, I don't know when that'll be going in there. But it's just a thing along the lines of, I'll put it out there, make it available to people, probably throw it on GitHub or whatever, and just see what happens. So that's my plan. If anybody wants to help out, I'm more than willing to accept help because I'm just not making enough progress. I hope that would. So that's the core of it. That'll be around when it's around. It does come down to the point being of having the base image, the ability to do with the book, the information, scripts, all that kind of stuff. But I want to be a fully documented process. One of the processes is a lot of that information is falling off because it is harder to find stuff. Because looking for some of these components like resources and stuff like that, they've fallen off except for archive.org. So it's just kind of sucky that someone's not around anymore. So that's pretty much where I'm at. Anybody got any questions?
Been very good sounds.
Anybody got any
Comments?
positive comments? That gets quiet.
Hey, I have a question that relates to that. I mean, you're using 4, right?
What?
You're using kernel 4.
Yes.
Have you been keeping up on the ext4 issue?
Yes.
That they resolved it?
Yes. It's been resolved. It's resolved in Arch. There's another one as well. I can't remember which one that's.
But that was only when you had ext4 and RAID involved, right? I thought that's.
I believe so.
That's
There's a couple
what
things
got
that ended up happening for it. There's another one that Linux Weekly News was talking about. I can't remember what. There's actually a more serious one, but it gets much play on this.
You gonna pull up OLUG?
I was going to take a look at 2 things actually. If you don't use this, this is something you just need to play with. It is a lot of fun.
Oh,
Oh, that is.
I remember that.
That is beautiful.
Is that Dart X? Dart X?
That looks better than this one.
Whoa. What was that?
No, I think it's just didn't refresh that. But
Okay.
yeah. Yeah, I do like the hat. But this is goes back.
2.0 free release.
Yeah, that's
2002.
That's still the version he has. That's the version that doesn't work. Both paranoid mode turned on. So I figured out the problem with last thing I did on there. But the reasons why for it are still pretty good. So I'm finishing up here sometime next month. It's not as cool as the for TP-Link firmware thing. That's not going to be the same. That's going to be done.
Oh. Any specific TP-Link hardware you're looking at?
Just the cheap generic $25 ones that you can get. They're the cheapest ones on Amazon. There's it's just getting enough of the Tor components right there. There's been a couple. There's been a non-box, like things like that.
It's the one that plugs directly into the wall.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I've seen the Cloak, a couple of ones like that. But there's some that I haven't seen that's really good freeware yet. But then again, Tor's having some issues right now. So I don't know if that's going to happen or not. But this is the next time I'm going to finish this thing. But I'm going to take a Tux logo and probably just do like jaunty tin Fez on it. And I actually bought myself a Fez, so I can put some book on it. So that's my presentation.
Sweet. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so I promised an announcement.
Is this where you actually go to Google? Be closer to Adam?
Yeah, right. So, the bar's open.
I saw that.
So-
Somebody was walking into it. So
I said I'd probably bring some people back now.
Wow. They have cheap tacos tonight?
It is Taco Tuesday. They have continued with that. But they're like twice the size of the previous.
I don't see how that's bad.
Yeah,
It's not bad. It's not bad.
Wow.
It's very nice. I mean, it's.
Will they allow us in there? That's so that nice.
Do you have any? They have Shiner, and Fat
one.
all these other things that I don't know the names of, so.
Yeah.
Oh, the other Fedora 22 is Zen 4.5 is crashing on.
Right.
22.
Did anybody have any problem with the,
I'm not running any Zen stuff on my.
speaking of that floppy issue, the Zen, and I'm trying to remember a week, what was it, week DH? No, that was something else.
No, that was the floppy code. because
Okay.
That was besides Zen, Oracle for OVM, and also QEMU.
And VirtualBox.
And VirtualBox, yes.
And then it was weak PH was the other.
Which is a wonderful contribution from the Clinton years, and I'm trying to
Yes.
make encryption work across the country.
And the Patriot Act expired, those 3 sections on midnight.
You know, they need a warrant.
Do they still have the letter that forgives them for doing that kind of stuff? That's the reason why I'm trying to bring back stuff like this, because there's one of the things that Omaha needs is a crypto party chapter. And we just need to, that's one of the things that the crypto party is a group devoted towards the idea of everybody being able to use crypto easily. One thing that happened today from Facebook, which is really surprising, is Facebook is now actually doing GPG email for or PGP email actually.
Really?
Yes. I mean, it's a big.
Still don't trust it because it's Facebook.
It's still evil, but it's not. It's
Well,
it's evil. It's evil people doing a non-evil thing, and that's all we're known for sometimes.
They're just doing it to lull you into false security.
That's
Okay,
okay.
did well that wrote off.
Just out of curiosity, speaking of crypto, has anyone played with Keybase? Anyone else played with Keybase? Keybase.io, it's like a social network for during the GPGP.
Oh, that sounds.
It was started by the people who started OkCupid.
Sounding interesting.
And you can stick your secret key out there.
That sounds better and better.
Where's the baller?
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to shut down the video. Thank you everybody for watching.
Oh, where did we park?